Welcome to another episode of Put Me In Coach. And let's just get into it because there was not really a whole lot to talk about. But we're still going to talk about because we're going to talk about every game there is and stuff. And game 2 against the Braves. So put me in, coach, because I'm in the game. The lineup, so Corbin Carroll is, I meant to say, Kento Marte is back at second base, or was it Corbin Carroll maybe it was Corbin Carroll at right field, because he was DH last game and stuff. Gabe Marino is actually the DH, so that just makes James McCain as the catcher, and then fortunately for Tim Tiwa to play left field, besides of Jordan Lawler because he is now on the IL. So that is the difference of the lineup. The other people probably the same overall of that and stuff. Here and there, a lot of miss, but we got some hits, so that's something from the lineup. And then pitching wise of it, Orodo Rodriguez did good. He had a little oofs here and there, but fortunately enough, did good. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 strikes, 1 walk, and no runs. And even Grant Holmes on the Braves did good as well. He went 6 innings, gave 1 hit, 4 strikes, 3 walks, I meant to say, and no runs. So both those starting pitchers did good with no runs. So we really had a big 0-0 type of tie game, pretty much all the way to the 9th inning and stuff. And then the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, Juan Morello, and Paul Sewald and Ryan Thompson. And unfortunately enough, you can see the 2 runs on Sewald was not the biggest what we need and stuff. And then the crazy thing is I think the weirdest thing is I don't know why Ravello put him in at 9, and then the 9th when it was tied 0-0 and stuff, and then pulled him out where enough of Ryan Thompson just went in for just threw one on the pitch, one batter I meant to say and stuff. So not a whole lot was going on because it was just basically a 0-0 competition on the pitching side and stuff. And then fortunately for the scoring and stuff, again, it was not really a whole lot. It's just basically the other team, and that is Ozzy Albies, a solo home run to make it 1-0 in the top of the 9th. And then Matt Olson just went back-to-back home runs as a solo home run to make it 2-0, top of the 9th, and that was the score. Basically, that's how much the Braves scored on the 9th, and we lost 0-2, make our record to be 3-5, and losing 2 in a row off the Braves and stuff. So that happens, it's what it is. Improvement. I would definitely say I think the pitching is good, wise and stuff. I just thinking enough of Sewald. He was looking great all this time and stuff. I thinking gotta understand about Ozzy and Matt Williams. Those are great batters, can really do a lot of damage. So you gotta understand that and stuff. And maybe Paul Sewald can understand these mistakes, and hopefully he won't do that again and stuff. Rodriguez looked good. Morello did okay and stuff, and then unfortunately, a little bit of Ryan Thompson, a little bit and stuff. Offense, again, I saw a little bit hits, not a whole lot. I definitely say they got a lot of walks, and then of Rodriguez gave up, but overall of enough. It was not too much. I think in both teams did good on defense and offense, trying to not make the other team to score and stuff, because it was no runs all the way to the ninth inning and stuff, till the time of where Ozzie and Olsen hit their back-to-back home runs on Seawald and stuff. And that's pretty much of that. You're gonna get those games here and there and stuff. I would be glad enough of if they got a score in, got on the run in the game and stuff, but fortunately we got shut out and stuff. And those things are just gonna happen. Just again, I'm gonna say it, like, learn your homework, like, see what's going on and stuff. Obviously enough of, I would say Grant Holmes is not really, I would say he's a good pitcher, but we should know from him and stuff, because we do a lot of a good battings off of him, and so especially of Suarez, because I've been to that game where Suarez hit his four home run in one game and stuff, and I was literally there at that game. And fortunately enough, we also lost that game against the Braves, and Holmes was the starting pitcher, and Holmes gave Suarez three home runs in that game. So that was pretty crazy of that. But I just have a feeling of, we should understand of our opponents and stuff, so we can do better on them and stuff. But fortunately enough, today Holmes did great by not giving any runs on the Diamondbacks and stuff. That's all an improvement. These are here games here and there and stuff. It's just gonna happen. We gotta win. This is gonna be a 4-game series. So hopefully enough, we can win game 3 and game 4, so we can, definitely like split the tying the series over the Braves. But if we lose tomorrow, it's not going to be end of the world or anything, but we do want to win. So that's our goal. That's pretty much it. I would definitely say. I know didn't really talk a lot and stuff. And I was a little frustrated today, a little bit, because it's so annoying of enough of, like, I just like paid like $100 just to watch the Diamondbacks on the MLB TV, because I got a Fire Stick just for this and stuff, and it's just doesn't make no sense to not have it all live games on the MLB TV and stuff. So they have to like sponsor or have it live in a different app and stuff. So today they were live on Apple TV and stuff, and so that was a little annoying. And fortunately enough, it's just I don't have Apple TV. Unfortunately, my parents do, so I'm glad enough of that. And I was a little struggle because I thought my brother had account for it and stuff, and I honestly enough, he possibility had Apple TV Plus, not just Apple TV and stuff. But fortunately enough, I had to go to my parents' house to watch the game, and I miss a lot of gameplay in the beginning and stuff, so I was not happy with that. So I was a little frustrated enough of just like, why on Apple TV today? I was at home, I was excited, I was ready for it, and then just hearing enough of like, oh no, it's on Apple TV, gotta go to my parents' house. So that's happened and stuff. Seeing our purple and Tion green City Connect jersey and stuff, I was hopefully enough where we would get our first win in our City Connect jerseys, but fortunately we didn't and stuff. But it's what it is. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do good, and Michael Sorka is pitching tomorrow, so hopefully he can show what he did against the Tigers. So hopefully he gets that confidence in this team. And so that's pretty much of it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.